What's up, YouTube? Filthy Casual here. Just this video is going to be like a recap of a bunch of different things that I've just found interesting over the course of the first week of the season or so. I haven't really gotten a chance to check out all the teams that I want to check out because I've been super busy. But of the games that I've seen and of the stuff that I've looked at, this is going to be just a mess of what I want. We're going to start off with the Warriors because I think the fastest thing is them. Their starting lineup is great. All the players we thought are going to be good are good. Jordan Poole is underplaying in his contract. I will be real. I'll be completely honest. I think it's not a great deal. I understand why they had to give him that money, but at the moment, currently, he's not worth that amount of money. I fully believe that. That being said, he hasn't been bad, but the bench has been. The bench has been terrible. Moody, Kuminga have both been struggling. Wiseman struggled. The bench has been a giant minus for the squad. It's not looking good for them, but it's the start of the season, and I believe Kerr will coach them up. Moving on to the 76ers, we're actually seeing a very interesting trend with the 76ers where they actually are giving more touches to James Harden. Like, his usage rate and like touches are through the roof compared to last year. Embiid's are way down. Maxey's are actually up. Maxey's are actually higher than Embiid. And part of it is because Harden's good again. And part of it is because Embiid is out of shape. He was either in, I forget, they said it on the broadcast. I forget exactly what it was. They said he was injured or like was sick over the offseason. And that's why he's not in shape. So he has to play his way into shape, and it also really hurts his MVP chances because, as we all know, to be an MVP, you really want to open the season strong. Not to say that he hasn't been playing well. He's averaging like 27, 11 with like 2 blocks on 50% shooting almost. I think it's 48% from the field, 20 something, like 20, low 20s from 3, which is weird for Embiid. I'm sure that'll go up, but yeah, it's definitely not a great look. And he's also had a 40 bomb already, but you know, not his best work. You know, give him a couple weeks. He'll be back. Beyond that, the Sixers defense is kind of mid. They've lost a couple of games pretty much solely based on that. Although I will say Harden is playing out of his mind, and I think that's what was going to make them dangerous and probably put them in the winning column more often than not. And then once Embiid's back, it's, you know, Embiid's back. The Nets, Day'Ron Sharpe is raw. He's very raw. I really like him. He makes a lot of rookie mistakes. He's a rookie. It makes sense. But I think he's a big body, and he shows a lot of potential. Ben Simmons looks like ass. He keeps fouling. Granted, they're calling some wild stuff. The foul he fouled off on was definitely a foul in this past game against the Grizzlies. Because he pushed him off his foot, but it was also like a very weak foul. And the fact that they called it to foul him out was wild. And they were calling everything in that game. But Ben Simmons is a joke right now. I hope he can get his shit together because there's no reason a number 1 overall pick who has all the God-given athleticism in the world cannot be better than a 33-year-old Draymond Green. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that at all. There's not. KD's been fantastic. Kyrie had one bad game, and that's why there was one of the losses because he scored like 16 points. But since then, he's been playing great. They both scored 35. Speaking of both scoring 35, Desmond Bane, bro. Desmond Bane's good. I don't think this is surprising that he's better than he was last year. I think the only reason he didn't win MIP was because he was a second-year player, and they were like, oh, well, it's just we'd rather give it to the second overall pick who definitely, you know, made a leap, but it was not. I understand that he was the most improved, but, you know, he gave away the trophy, which is wild. I wouldn't do that. I would never be like, oh, you deserve it. Like, I'm too good for this. That's a fucked up thing to do. Let's be real. That being said, Ja is freaking amazing. And not only is he amazing, he's getting into that upper echelon of players where he can just, like, score and pass and play make. And, you know, he can shoot from the outside. He can do all this crazy stuff. And nobody is gonna fuck with Ja. Ja might be a top 10 player this year. He really might. I'm not calling it for that yet, but I think by the end of the season we might be thinking of him as like a top 10 player. Especially because I don't think the Heat are going to have a great year overall. I'm not a fan of this Heat roster. Beyond that, though, the Celtics are also playing super well. Tatum's in like MVP form right off rip, which is kind of weird for him. Normally he struggles in the first half of the year and then turns it the fuck up in the second half. So for him to come out like guns blazing is really good for this squad, like really, really good for them, because it means that they're not going to be putting themselves in a hole right off rip, and they're missing multiple players. Malcolm Brogdon is a great fit. They're going to have to figure out if they're going to start him. They might have to. I think they probably should at this point. But Marcus Smart is also showing why he was DPOY last year, but he's still not. I'm sorry. Like, he's like a Mark. Even Marc Gasol's better than. I'm not a fan of Marcus Smart. What he does from his position beyond the defense is so mid relative to his defensive production. And I think we consistently find that from a point guard, that's not acceptable, or at least from like your main distributor, unless you have somebody else who's like really your focal point of your defense or of your offense for passing, like, you know, having like a big man who's an excellent passer like Jokic, right? But yeah, not a great thing there. But anyways, Celtics are still freaking amazing. Other teams I want to talk about. I'm looking at the standings, just taking a peek. The Orlando Magic, they're 0-4, which is honestly, I find kind of surprising. I was kind of anticipating for them to win a bunch of games when they came out in the season, because I really liked them last year. This team has way too much Cole Anthony in it. Banchero's great. Franz Wagner's great. Bol had an amazing game against my Knicks. Which was weird because it was like Bol was like, what the fuck? This dude's like, I haven't seen this guy play 20 minutes ever. And the second he plays 20 minutes, he's got 19 points, 4 blocks, and 5 assists. Like, what the heck is that? Not a fan of the way this roster is currently constructed. I understand that this is kind of a between year for them, but I think with how good Paolo is, and with how good Franz Wagner is, and with how good, a lot of these other players, like, I think once Markelle Fultz is back, he would be the starting guard for this squad. So that leads me to believe that the only role that they really need to fill is their big man role. And their big man role, they have a bunch of people that they're kind of working with at the moment. They have Bol, they have Mo Bamba. I guess John Isaac can play minutes at the center, but like, they really need like a Steven Adams type of big who's just gonna block shots and do shit for them. And if Bol can become that for them, that's big for them, because Paolo's for real. I think in 3 years he's gonna be one of the 20 best players in the league. Might not even take 3 years, but in 3 years he's gonna be one of the 20 best players in the league for sure, without a doubt. And it's so blatantly obvious. The dude's averaging like 22 points at this point. He is just seeing, he gets to the line like crazy, which is like, holy shit, this dude's going to translate no matter what. And, I'm just super excited for it. I really like the Magic. I cannot explain why I like the Magic, but I like the Magic. And it sucks that they're 0-4, and I'm kind of bummed about it, but I think they play well. All those games were close. They lost most of them by like, single digits, right? They lost to the Hawks by 10. They lost to the Celtics by 6. They lost to the Magic by 4. And they lost to the Knicks by 13. But the 13 was really like a bunch of stuff in garbage time. Like, RJ scored like 4 points in garbage time to get 20. It doesn't really matter. Those are pretty much all the teams that I've been watching. I haven't really gotten to watch anybody else. Who else have I seen games of? I saw the Bulls Raptors game. The Bulls look like ass without Lonzo. Not gonna lie. The Raptors are still the Raptors. Solid team. The Pelicans look really good. Zion and BI being out sucks, but when they were on the floor, looked great. Super excited for that. Timberwolves maybe a little bit underwhelming. maybe a little bit underwhelming. I haven't watched any of their games, but I did tune into them getting blown out by the Jazz, only for them to like make some final push, like when it was way too late. And then I saw them get blown out by the Spurs in the same kind of way, and it was like, what's happening here? I don't really know. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to tune into some of those games. If you have an idea, let me know about that in the comments, and have a wonderful day.